welcome to our first interview with Brother Nik, who is based in New York. And thank you so much for agreeing to jump on with us and answer a few questions.
It was all mine.
So, what we're going to start off with is could you share a bit about your personal journey with the Marist community and how it has influenced your life and career?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Nick, you know that already, right? Or Brother Nick, whatever you want to call me. I'm very open about that. Uh, I'm Greek, but actually I didn't live many years in Greece, only for two. And I spent most of my time living in countries abroad, specifically South Africa. To give you an example, I also lived in South Africa itself, but also Namibia, Indonesia, the UK, Austria, Greece, and even Ireland,
Oh, great.
and that was very special to me because, as I will explain later, that's when I actually got to know more about the Marist Brothers, and that kind of like started my whole vocation. I didn't go to any my school whatsoever, and up to when I was 15, I had no idea about the Marist Brothers whatsoever. So yeah, that was always something. I feel like that's very unique in a sense, and not that I want to brag over anything, but like everybody else is connected to the brothers, and that it gives a whole like charism by itself. But I feel like, let's say, because my vocation was moving from one place to the other all the time already, before I joined this kind of life, I feel like it kind of made me more, let's say, allowed me to adjust to this kind of lifestyle even easier, because
Brilliant.
I will explain more later. It's something that Marist Brothers are meant to do, to follow the institute whenever it sends them, and I feel like it's part of the charisma and it's part of the beauty that comes with it.
I'd love to see your passport. I'd say you have lots of really interesting stamps in there. Nice.
Yeah, I not really anymore. Recently changed it. Now I have just the Turkey stamp and the US stamp.
Ah,
So yeah,
yeah, fab.
not a big.
Brilliant. Okay, so can you tell us about your formation in becoming a Marist brother? So you're now in New York, so that is where you're doing your formation.
Yeah, but first I think I have to add how it started. Like I first I contacted the brothers through an email, and I get out. First, I was actually living in Bulgaria, so this is a country above Greece. Like Greece is like in the Mediterranean Sea, and
Mhm.
Bulgaria is just like a bit south of it. And I was living there, and I was working as a marketing analyst.
Oh,
Out
wow.
of
So how old were
I
you?
know, right? Sorry, did you ask something?
Sorry, how old were you doing that?
Okay, yeah, I was 22 back then, to
22.
23.
Okay, yeah.
So I was working as a marketing analyst, and I always, of course, I was coming from a religious family. I always had like a strong sense of vocation. I had this experience with the camp when I was in Ireland, a few other things as well. And I was starting, to wonder, like, is this life for me, and what should I do next, and what God wants for me. And I contacted the brothers in the beginning, just to see, just to get to know more about them. And I told them about also the connection in Ireland, but because I was in Bulgaria, they just told me to contact the brothers myself in Greece, which is my
Okay.
home country.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it quite like it took me quite some time to actually decide to visit the house.
Yes.
Once I did, of course, it's a decision that I will never regret. It's the decision that brought me here. Initially, it was just like a few months. No, sorry. First, it was a few weeks, then like a month, then like 2 months. Like I was going back and forth. It was very
Okay.
flexible because of my job. I was working online, so it was very easy for me to just go back and forth. And traveling is like my second nature, maybe my first one actually. So like after all this, let's say, back and forth, getting to know them, getting to know me, it started. I started saying, that I want to live. I want to do this. I want to live this kind of life. I really love what they're doing with the kids, with just themselves in the community life and all that kind of stuff. So I wrote a letter to the provisional. Uh, asking for acceptance to the first stage. You know, it was called postulancy back then. Now it's called aspirancy. So I could live with the brothers, leave my job actually. You know, I left my job and I moved
Wow.
into the house. So for 6 months, I was in the community in Athens. In the mornings, I was helping in the school, and in the evenings, I was helping in a social center, which for me was far more interesting because the kids there were from all over the place, you know, and I
Mm,
felt way more connected myself with them, like, you know, just like that.
really?
Uh, yeah, and that was a lovely experience. But then, like they said, the brother said that, you know, we see a spark, we see something in you, and we really want you to experience more things so that both you can understand if this is for you, or and we can understand if you're meant for that, you know. So
Yeah.
after that, I had the chance to go to France and to Paris, and I lived there for another 6 months with the French brothers, pretty much following the same schedule, like school in the mornings, and then actually in the evenings I had French lessons. So it
Oh,
was a bit,
brilliant. Nice.
yeah, man, it was still very interesting, of course, and very enjoyable. And then after that, I had another 6 months, 5 or 4, I think, actually, to be precise, in Barcelona, which was another like it is another important center for the province of the Hermitage, which is where I'm
Yes.
from. So yeah, that was another 6 months that followed exactly the same like schedule as in Athens, school in the mornings, and then social center in the afternoons, evenings, afternoons. And after all that happened, which took about 1 year and a half,
Yeah.
I wrote a letter that I wanted to go even further and enter the, well, back then it was called entering the novitiate, but now actually they have, no, initially they had it as a postulancy. So that's what I had to do. I had, let's say, to repeat the postulancy in the US where I'm now, because another person, brother Bjorn, joined me as well, and we connected with two brothers from the US, young brothers, young people who want to be brothers, brother Thomas and brother Abby. So the four of us now
Oh,
live in the house. We've
yes.
completed the postulancy together,
Yeah, I
and now
follow
we're
you
doing
guys on
the,
Instagram.
yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. So we're having quite the time together,
Yeah.
like both, of course, following the formation, but just, also laughing around the table, like connecting with each other, much like I think the first brothers did as well. So, this always makes me feel nice.
Yeah.
The formation, of course, is priority, but there's also, like, let's say, gaps of laughter and like
Absolutely.
connection and
Yeah.
friendship and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
This is like
because I
your
feel like,
Lavala table. Your Lavala table is
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
we have,
Yeah.
every community has a Lavala table, and we have that as well, right?
Mm,
Because brother, I think also means that, to be in connection with the people, the member of our communities. So I think we're doing a good job with
mm,
that. Uh, yeah, would
fantastic.
you like me to say something more about
Yeah.
the?
So we're talking about the formation training. So you've been in New York now for 6 months.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a bit? You had a very important ceremony took place recently.
Yeah, like 2nd of February, so 10 days ago, exactly. We officially entered the novitiate, and we took the habit, the Marist habit, and the cross that I wear right
Yes,
here with me, which I
very
think is the same
special.
one that
Beautiful.
we wear. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. As they were everywhere around the world. And of course, I think this means a lot to me, like the habit as well. But like this is everything, like it's kind of my identity, if that makes sense, and not just like what I'm now, but what I want to be in the future and what I
Mm.
vow myself to be. So it really means a lot to me.
Of course, you're going to cherish that forever. Absolutely. Nice.
Yeah, of
And
course.
so then what happens next?
Yeah. We will continue this for 18 months. But of course, like it's like very open. If like for whatever reason during those 18 months you decide that this is not for you, you can leave. And let's say no hard spirits, right? Like
No.
nobody, the same love that existed before will exist after. Like you will still be part of the marriage family.
Or it
You
is.
will, and you will always value that experience, both yourself, but also, your formators, your fellow brothers that were with with you during this time. So I feel like this is something very beautiful. That like once you're in the Marist family, once you become a member, that doesn't mean only a brother. It could be anything. That means you will always be part of the Marist family. So I feel like this is something that really draws me. This is something very unique to us Marists.
Absolutely. I also notice you're wearing a jumper, a hoodie. So what is this?
Yeah, it is. It says Mount St. Michael Rugby. I'm a huge rugby fan, more than a fan. Actually, when I was younger, I used to play. I had aspirations of becoming a professional,
Oh,
So yeah, it really meant a lot to me. I even had like a few professional trials, but unfortunately, I succumbed to injuries, and I couldn't go further. So this kind of, let's say, developed my vocation or transferred it to more like coaching, and it is what I do now.
yeah.
I help in the school, especially with the rugby team and with a few other sports teams. I'm a huge sports fan, especially like sports that require strength. I don't know, I'm all about them. Amongst them, when I was in Ireland, I also played the GAA.
Oh,
Both
amazing. Great.
both football and hurling. I had like I liked football more because it was like rugby to me, so it came very quickly. Hurling was also a great sport. It is also a great sport, but it's just a bit more technical, more different, but it's still amazing.
Oh, you need to be careful. We're going to bring you back to Ireland now. You'll be given a job. Be careful. You can coach
I'm
here.
not sure.
You're always welcome.
Sure thing.
Always
It
welcome.
doesn't sound bad.
Okay, well, so what do you see as the most significant opportunities and challenges for Marist education in your region today?
Yeah, so I feel specifically here in New York, uh, we will be starting from this August, doing things or educational activities specifically with people that have disabilities. That could be physical, mental, anything. We're organizing a few camps in August, and we hope to expand that, in the months or maybe years to come,
Yes.
so that like more people can be included. And myself, I will be going there, participating in a camp for deaf children. I know some sign language myself, so I'm
Yeah.
really eager in
Brilliant.
trying to communicate through this beautiful language, and also try to share a bit of like the marriage spirit with those kids. So I feel like the schools here at least do not really have, let's say, the facilities for those children, but I really see the willingness to change that, and I hope that in the near future that can change. So this is something very specific to me, and let's say even more specific to my vocation. So yeah.
Super. Brilliant. So that's in New York and challenges then for you mentioned Greece before.
Oh, yeah, like when it comes to more generally, let's say speaking, I think a very difficult thing is the presence of the brothers. The brothers unfortunately are getting older. The vocations are not that many, so this like kind of doesn't like distort the identity of the school, but some kids they wonder what it means. What does it mean to be a Marist brother? Like, oh, we say our school is Marist, what does that mean? So the whole issue about vocation is one thing, but like I feel like a great way, not really a great way, but another thing that like the Marist mission has trying to do is think of ways how to uh continue that mission, not necessarily with brothers, but like with lay people as well, and not just how to continue it, but how to expand it,
Yeah.
because I think that's what it means to be a brother. That's what it means to be married, like uh, going not just like let's say up, down, left or right, but like towards all directions, and trying to embrace everybody, because that is the spirit that guides us, the spirit of Mary, and that's how Mary was, and that's how we are ought to be. So I really think that this thinking about like how to better carry on this mission, it's a difficulty but also an opportunity. And I'm really hopeful that even if it's a difficulty now, soon enough will be an opportunity to expand and grow together.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. It was really good. Um, is there a key moment or a significant moment in your Maris journey that comes to mind?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, briefly, when I was in Ireland, that's when I got to know about the Marist Brothers. And, who would have thought, imagine that for a second. A Greek guy learns about a French congregation in Ireland. I feel like there's something extraordinary about that. Uh, so to continue the story and expand on it a bit more, I was living in Dublin I'm sorry, with my family. I mean, I was a 15-year-old kid, and I participated in a summer camp, Catholic summer camp. And there I met a brother. In the beginning, of course, I didn't know who he was or what he was doing or, what it even meant to be a brother. But like after talking with him and after seeing how he acted, how much he cared, how much like he was willing to help, and also, sometimes how he refused things, that really inspired me as a young kid. And it really wanted me to try to go deeper, to learn more about, what that all means. Like, why does this guy, because for me, he was a guy more than anything else back then. Why does he decide to live this kind of life? And
Yeah.
why does he decide to act upon the way he does? So yeah, that like spark that gave a spark, and really made me want to develop, to try to learn more and follow the life that I've been living now. So yeah.
Super. Oh, I love that. Brilliant. So while we're on kind of these inspirational ideas, can we have a little look at some of these Marist values? So is there a Marist value that you would be drawn to?
Yeah, of course. I feel like the spirit of work. It's something that really I always had a good connection with it. You can even say a bit too good in the sense that I was exaggerating, and sometimes I tend to be a workaholic, you know. But still, like even with that, like if it is when it is a value, right? We say that, and when it is used within like let's say the community, like the environment of the school that I might be working in, for me or for anybody else, I feel like it can really be a value, like something that will uh, help not just me, but like people around me develop and grow, once again together, because that's what it means to be a community. And, those values should be like, let's say, like a stepping ladder, like a way to see those things again together. I keep repeating myself, but
Yeah.
I hope it's clear.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. So love
and
of
when
work is the value for you.
yeah, that I would say.
Nice. Very good. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Nick. For our last question, if you could share with us a piece of advice or inspiration with Marist educators and students across the district, what would it be?
Yeah, I really think that something more personal a bit as I was growing up. Uh, like I've always felt that my teachers weren't very open with me, and of course I was a kid, so I wasn't really very open with that with them either. So I feel like that's something that I would like to see from not just marriage educators, but also hopefully educators all around the world. And when I say open, it really doesn't mean much, like it can just be a good morning or a good day. How are you doing? Like, or
A
just being on
connection.
the phone when being on the phone, not like condemn that instantly, but like just care, like just try to ask like, oh, what is that, because I feel like not just because from a personal perspective, but also like our founder, Father Marcelin Sampagna, was never quick to judge, and he was always open. He always wanted to hear the brothers, what they say, what they think, why they do what they do, So I feel like this should be a part of our very own identity as Marists, as educators, as anything really,
Mm.
like this openness can really change things, from down to very minor behaviors to like just how we act all together as a community. So I really think that this would be something very nice to see, and that's something that inspires me myself, exactly because I didn't see that as I was growing up. I have, let's say, put that as a motivation to help me, to allow me to help others, through the way I, let's say, through what I was lacking as I was growing up. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really believe in that.
Yeah. Super piece of advice. Thank you so much, Nick. That was fantastic.